Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well. And today we were talking about Star Wars Rebels, which is a series that I personally really enjoy. Now, is it as good as Star Wars Clone Wars? In my opinion, not necessarily. I think Clone Wars is just a much better machine that was well oiled, that really had a great ending point, and is going to be, I think, hopefully even better with the conclusion of the series, the conclusion that a lot of us have been wanting for a long time when season 7 of the Clone Wars comes out on the Disney Plus network. Now, whether or not I'm going to buy the Disney Plus network to watch it, obviously is something that allegedly you already know the answer to if you are watching the channel. However, this news has to do specifically with voice actor Freddie Prinze Jr., who recently has said some of the dumbest comments of any Hollywood actor that I've heard in a very, very long time. So Freddie Prinze Jr. is that type of person that he thinks that he knows everything. He thinks that because he did the voice of a character in a Star Wars series that he somehow knows better than everyone else. But what's hilarious is that in his ego, in his thought process of thinking that he's better than everyone else, that he knows better than other Star Wars fans, and that he has this just tremendous knowledge of Star Wars, he honestly has just completely lost control of reality and lost any sense of reality by being just a madman, to put it lightly. So Star Wars Rebels voice actor, again, this is going to be covered here by our boys over at Bounding Into Comics. It says, claims that dissatisfied Star Wars fans are just mad the franchise isn't aging with you. A rant by Freddie Prinze Jr. provides the voice of Kanan Jarrus on Star Wars Rebels, wherein the actor discusses Star Wars fans, their toxicity, and the canonical reasons behind why various long-held beliefs regarding the Force are wrong. He recently gained attention and begun circulating across social media. And that, to me, is already everything you need to know. So this is an adult who is basically trying to explain the canonical reasons why long-held beliefs for Star Wars fans are not exactly true. So this is a man talking in depth about not just Star Wars, but also one of the basic aspects, or one of the most complicated, even you could say, aspects of Star Wars, which is, of course, the Force. And then he's going to go on to say that people who are obsessed with Star Wars need to realize that it's for, in his words, effing children. Now, I don't know if he understands the irony of that comment about saying, oh, Star Wars is for effing kids, man. Even if you look to some of the old school photos from the original Star Wars, it was very clearly not just for kids, it was for families. I don't know why we live in an age now where even idiot Hollywood types like Freddie Prinze Jr. can't understand the difference between a kid's movie and a family film. I mean, honestly, do you realize that just because you happen to be in a crappy movie called Scooby Doo, Where Are You? And just because you happen to ruin one of the greatest cartoons from my childhood by being a stupid portrayal of the character of Freddy, just because that movie failed, because that movie was a definite kids movie that couldn't even appeal to kids, because you don't understand the difference between a kids and family film, Freddie Prinze Jr., obviously salty because your career is not going the way that you hoped it had gone at this point in your life. Just because you can't accept that, you need to realize that at the end of the day, you're not entitled to your own truth. You're not entitled to your own facts. And just the pure irony of your comments must be pointed out very, very clearly here. So if you want to actually watch the video of his rant, his just completely crazed rant at this point, this is a man that is obsessed with trying to get attention because he knows his career is not really going anywhere. And I say that as someone that has no actual, personal problems with Freddie Prinze Jr. I think that overall, he's someone from the 90s films that I've watched with him in it. I overall like them. He was crap in Scooby Doo. I thought he did a great job doing the voice of Kanan in Star Wars Rebels, and I have respect for him as a voice actor for that reason. But just because your career is not going the way you wanted to go doesn't mean you have to go after all fans while burying yourself in the process with your comments. All right, so Prinze Jr. begins by telling Dai how even I get hate from Star Wars fans, stating that these upset fans fail to realize that the target demographic that they were not the target demographic for the series and were just pissed off that Han Solo gave the effing Millennium Falcon to a girl. Now, we talked about this on Friday Night Tights on Idiotic's channel last night, that this is just complete nonsense. We do not care who gets the Millennium Falcon. We do not care who the main focus of the story is. You do realize that the same people you're going after by trying to say by this blanket, oh, they're just sexist people because they don't like a girl getting Millennium Falcon. You do realize that in your series, there were fan favorites that happen to be female characters. You do realize that one of the fan favorites, one of the best characters from Clone Wars, which you were not a part of, was Ahsoka Tano. of whom many people hold with great respect and also great love, to the point where even just rumors of her showing up in the new sequel trilogy are making us very concerned about them ruining the character because we think that she is such a badass character on her own. You do realize just how stupid your comments really come across? Freddie Prinze Jr.? Seriously, man? Oh, they're just mad because they're sexist. Please. Please. Get over yourself, man. So there's the whole quote. I did a Star Wars cartoon, so even I get hate from Star Wars fans when I'm like, look, dog. And this is just great because he becomes just this, bro, look, dog, you're just mad because the franchise isn't aging with you. But that ain't how it works. The first one was for effing kids, man. The second three were for different effing kids, and this one is for kids. You're just pissed off that Han Solo gave the effing Millennium Falcon to a girl. That's it. No, it's not, you idiot. Or in the words of Chris Jericho, you stupid idiot. And here's the other thing, too. You say that so you're talking about the first original trilogy. Really? Really? So you're telling me that getting hands chopped off, that, killing people, that chopping people in half with lightsabers, with laser swords is for kids? You can say that they are family movies, and I will agree with you to a very large extent, because guess what? Family movies are for everyone in the family. I guess a little definition might be necessary here. So you think these are kids' movies, that they're for kids. Kids' movies only appeal to the lowest common demographic, right? The lowest common denominator. They are stupid movies. Kids' movies that are just for kids are stupid movies, and they tend to be really bad movies. So if you're going to say that Star Wars is just a kid's movie, well, then you would have to therefore admit that it's a bad movie. I can't think of any just kids movies that aren't general family films that aren't any good. Again, the ones that, like, for example, your Scooby Doo, that just try to make stupid humor and stupid comments because you wanted to try and make the kids laugh, but you didn't care about the adults having to watch the damn movie for, with those kids, which is what most good family films are able to do, is obviously your own fault and not the fault of the fandom. But it's just amazing to me that people like Freddie, because he's not the only one, right? He just happens to be one of the most outspoken and doesn't have a problem saying, yo, bro, F this, F that, bro. It's like, get over yourself, man. You're the one that's complaining about Star Wars fans here. If this is just for kids, then why the hell are you talking about it? Why have you made a career at this point, since now you're done with Rebels, and it doesn't look like you're ever coming back to that series unless they try to revive that because they realize, hey, guess what? Classic fans that we're losing happen to like Rebels and Clone Wars too. It's amazing. Why do you think that they brought Clone Wars back? Why do you think they brought Clone Wars Season 7 back? Do you think it's because it was made for kids? No. It's because it was made for families, and those families now have kids, and those families want to share that love of the Star Wars franchise with their children, because it's made for all people in a family. It's a family series, a family movie, a family concept. How do you not understand this, you troglodytes? Which is a great word that they've tried to use against people like me, but I like using it back at them like that. He goes on, cause Luke Skywalker is Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty. He can talk to things that don't speak English and understands what they're effing saying. He gets a fairy godmother instead of a fairy godfather instead of a fairy godmother who teaches him how to be the best Jedi in the world in no time effing flat. Have you even watched the original trilogy? You do realize that the things that he does become better at with very little explanation, they are able to explain in his backstory of him being able to, for example, be a good shooter because he happened to have training in shooting things in his life. Again, they established that early on. And you do realize that they established that it takes a bit of time for him to get to the next location while he is training. Keep in mind that he is training with the little bot and he's getting zapped. He's obviously not that good at it, but he gets better as time goes on. How much training did Rey get? Oh, wait, that's right. None. She got no training whatsoever. She happened to be good at the Force because that's continued on through every single film. She's never had to struggle for anything. She's always been able to get out of a situation on her own. You do realize that there's a major difference here, Freddie Prinze Jr., who obviously doesn't have any idea about Star Wars because you're just going off on these tangents. He goes on and says, if you want to do this like time-wise, Palpatine, you would say, and Yoda are the smartest too, right? Palpatine, clearly smart because Yoda was blind to the power of the dark side, the seduction of Anakin. Wait a minute. You're going into details here about Star Wars, but I thought it was just for kids. If it's just for kids, why do you have to explain it? If it's just for kids, why are you even talking about it? If it's just for kids, why have you made your career post-Rebels all about you going on to your podcast, to other people's podcasts, talking about Star Wars if it's just for kids? Please explain that to me, Freddie Prinze Jr. So let's talk about the seduction of Anakin effing Skywalker for a second. Oh, I'm such a bro. Look, I'm dropping F-bombs, man. I'm so cool. You're not PC. I feel like you're one of those PC bros from South Park. Seriously, that is what you're acting like right now, and it does not make you look good. If the Emperor is the smartest dude in the universe and knows that the Force dictates it, don't you mean galaxy? If he kills who he sees as a rival, Anakin, then he knows the Force is just going to effing correct that because the Emperor knows this. These are George Lucas's words, not mine. So F you if you disagree with me. Straight up, this information time, not affirmation time. Straight up, man. Seriously. When is it? Have you just never left the fraternity? Have you just lived the fraternity lifestyle your entire life, and now that you're in your, 40s, 50s, I don't even know how old you are at this point, that you just can't get past this? You do realize that maybe you got famous because, your family was famous before you? We can't talk about that, though, right? And as I say this as someone that overall likes your work. I like your work in the 90s films because I tend to like chick flick movies, and guess what? I also like your work in Rebels. Ah, my goodness gracious. I can't. He goes off on this long tangent. I'm never going to buy it ever. Star Wars is for effing kids. This is just ridiculous. So let's go ahead and with the conclusion. Again, not my opinion, George Lucas. So go F yourself if you disagree. Go F yourself if you disagree. Wow. And we're supposed to be the ones that are that are not open to discussion. We're supposed to be the closed-minded troglodytes, right? We're the ones that are supposed to be completely impossible of having genuine conversation. And you're just saying to an entire group of people, a gigantic group of people of that, oh, F you if you disagree. You don't get to level up in the Star Wars world. That's an effing video game. What is he even talking about? There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. Qui-Gon even says, I turn towards the light because it's there. There's no gray. That's pretend fan fiction crap. What is cool, but don't try to canonize it because it doesn't work. I'm never going to buy it. Star Wars F-Frame can. So obviously you never dove into the EU then, when they make clear that there are great Jedi. In fact, just look up, Google search very quickly, the most powerful great Jedi, and it'll tell you exactly when those people were established. And not to mention, in your own damn series, there is a character named Bendu who, yes, he's not a great Jedi, but he's someone that's in the middle. You try and say that it's one side or the other. In your own damn series, there is a character that is in the middle, who is both of the light and the dark. Guess what we call that? Gray area, which means, yeah, he may not be a great Jedi, but guess what? That means that he's definitely of the gray. It's amazing to me that not only you're ignorant of Star Wars, not only are you ignorant of the stupid things that you're saying, but you're also ignorant of your own damn series. Seriously, man, stop talking, get back to work, and if you can't find work, don't take your anger out on fans that are just trying to love a franchise and just trying to save a franchise from being destroyed, because we would like our children and our future children and our generations that follow to pick this up and to continue the love of Star Wars in the future. But you go ahead and keep dropping those F-bombs and saying that's just for kids, even though you just went off on a giant rant about Star Wars, and obviously you're not a child, even though you're obviously acting like a child, which is just, I think, being a little bit too kind to you in the land. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot more harsh things to say to you. Obviously, I just don't feel the need to, because I feel like you make yourself look like a pretty big idiot in the long run. But anyway, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Again, this is something that we talked about before. Seriously, like this dude right here, if it's just for kids, man, why are you even talking about it at this point? Like, that point alone, you've just ruined your argument by going off on this rant. And then you make a stupid comment like that at the very end there, that there's no in-between, when in your own series there is clearly a character that is in-between. Seriously, go ahead and look up Bendu. Go ahead and look up the fact that it's not just fan fiction that deal with the Grey Jedi and deal with the people that are in the middle. Have you ever heard of the Ankh-Ti monks? Again, I've at least heard of them. I've read only a few of the EU novels, but I've at least even heard of them being in this place in the middle, being able to establish this perfect balance between light and dark. But you apparently have no knowledge of this. You keep saying it's George Lucas's words. Do you realize that George Lucas, though he created this universe, is not a god? That George Lucas can say things that are wrong? You do realize that George Lucas is not beyond reproach? Why do you think we've been critical of him? Why do you think we were critical of the prequels for their terrible garbage tier dialogue? Because it was garbage tier dialogue. Why do you think we've been critical of some of the things that he's done in his career? But why do you also think we were so celebratory over series like Rebels, over series like Clone Wars? Because those were things that were actually inspired by him, created by his hands before Disney took over and just completely destroyed it. The only reason why Rebels was even any good is because Dave Filoni, who worked under him and understood the world that he was building, was able to get the last vestige of what was good Star Wars out in front of us. A series that you were a part of, a series that I love, a series that Laura, Ryan Stole My Fanfiction Story, has sent me. I have the entire series because of her, and I love it. It's so fantastic. But it's people like you, it's comments like this that are going to make me not ever watch it again, and that's sad. Because everyone else that's involved with the show, I mean, I was at Star Wars Celebration, and the celebration that was had there was truly amazing. Everyone was happy to be there. Everyone was gracious to the fans. Every person had nothing but kind words to say. And then your ass didn't even show up. Either one, because you weren't invited, or two, because you're so stuck up that you can't even give the fans back even just a little bit. And I'm done. All right, anyway, let me know your thoughts about this stuff and all the things we talked about in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash the like button, give us a subscribe. It helps us a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.